You're kicking it with the Christians. You're kicking it with the Christians. One marriage, two hustlers, it shows. We'll travel the globe in search of endless possibility. You're kicking it with the Christians. Together we'll conquer it all. Take the highs with the lows, 'cause there's no losing with this energy. You're kicking it with the Christians.
So, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the
One marriage, two hustlers.
We're still working on our intro all these years.
It be like that. It be like that. It be like that.
Oh my God, guys, we are in 2025. How do you feel?
I mean, it's just another year to me. I don't even like to talk about. I like to when I do these videos. I like them to be timeless.
I'm just thinking about. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking about when we first started our podcast and where we're at now. With owning a content creation studio where,
It's a lot.
we record other people's podcasts along with our individual podcasts and then our podcast together. Just thinking about where we started, I mean, the journey has been ever changing. And so I think right now, just having that place of stability and a flow is good.
I think so. I would say we in studio 3.0. I would say.
Yeah.
Because we started at the first studio we started at, we was like, man, we were trying to figure out the flow.
Yeah, because I think when we first started, the idea was just to get out of our house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's not record at home anymore. And then also, too, we had a couple people who wanted to utilize our studio at our house. So we just felt like, okay, let's get a small space. Like, we didn't want anything too big. We wanted something that, at that time was affordable within our price range that made sense for us, right? And it was a perfect time for us to make a move because we did a debt snowball. So we were in a great place. And when we got the space, I think the idea was just for us to have the place to record and then also to have like a creative space for you to really, really bring your why now is your time brand to life.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just crazy how the vision has grown and changed with God and with us just
consistency.
Consistently working on our purpose.
Yeah.
And just figuring out, who we are along this journey in this world. Because I think we kind of knew we were headed to this direction, but we just didn't know the extent of where we were going. So I agree when you say 3.0, like it superseded what we had in mind.
Yeah. Man, I like to bring this up because somebody gonna watch this podcast and be going in the mix and going into the mix of they don't know where they're going, but they know they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of times when you don't know where you're going, but you like, man, I'm gonna get out there. It's scary, but you have to get out there to figure it out because when we started, we didn't have no systems and processes. We was just like, man, let's just shoot from the hip.
Yeah, and that's something that we tweaked along the way, like just constantly investing in our dream. And when I say investing, that means investing in knowledge, investing in, equipment, investing in furniture, like all these things we did to help really, really bring that vision to life. Like we really went all out for what we wanted and the vision that we saw. And of course, we talk about this all the time. When you're telling people about your vision, sometimes they don't get it. They can't visualize it. And that's because it's yours. It's yours. God gave it to you for you to bring it to life. And so that's the exciting part. And for people to come in and see it and be like, whoa, it looks good in here. Oh, this is so nice. Because now they can physically see it. But when we were just telling you about it or telling someone about it, was just kind of like, okay, I think I get it. But when you really, really see it and it's like tangible, you can touch it, it's different. It's a different feeling.
Yeah, and I like to bring up the fact that so many times as we into the exterior of it, the outside of it, we don't experience the same thing as when you inside of it.
Right.
Because the experience is different. Because when you're on the outside, it's like, oh, okay, I can do this, I can do that. But then when you're actually doing it and you're trying to put together a masterpiece so that you have a space where people feel super comfortable. You have a space where whenever you walk in, you're impressed. A lot of times, like right now, we're putting this space together. People impressed, but in my brain, I'm like, man, I ain't there yet.
Yeah. It's not up to our standards. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, we're constantly working to be better. And when you're in the driver's seat, which you should be, okay, it's different. I like to say you need to be in the driver's seat of your own life. Like,
True.
no longer do you need to ride in the passenger seat, because when you're in the passenger seat, you just chilling. You looking on your phone, you looking around.
Big chilling.
You watching other people. But when you driving, you have to be what? You have to be more attentive.
That's true.
You have to pay attention to detail.
That's true.
You may have to detour. All these things can occur when you're driving. But if you're in the passenger seat, you can go to sleep. You can chill. You can be on cruise control. But guess what? Time is still going. You're still going. And you never know where you're going to end up because you're not the one driving.
Ooh, that's good.
So be always in the driver's seat. And so I love that about us. Now, this brings us into today's topic. Is these are some things that we've struggled with along the way. And, sometimes it's still a constant struggle. Like, I feel like this is going to be an ongoing struggle because it's something we have to continue to work at. But men and women communicate differently.
Big facts.
Like, we communicate differently. And so it's different when I get up and I'm going to work and he get up and he's going to work and he's working overnight and I'm going to work and we're passing each other. The communication style is different. Okay. So that's what we were when we first started our marriage, when we first started our relationship in general. That's the space that we were in. But when we got into business together, I don't think we thought about how this was going to affect our marriage. We always made it a priority to not let it consume us so much that it took away from our marriage. So I think we did a good job at that. But I don't think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we were ready for the, oh my God, you communicate that way? That's how you work? That's how you act? Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it was an adjustment for both of us to be in a work environment together. So I'm gonna let you talk about it a little more before I.
Well, I think the hardest part about just being in business together is the compromise part. See, everybody want to be in business, but they don't want to compromise. To me, your relationship is easier when you're literally only spending 20% of your life at the house and the other 80% out. Because you at work, you this and this.
Really?
You really only spending 20.
You think it's easier though?
It's easier because you don't have to
avoid stuff.
You can avoid a lot of stuff. But
That's
when you
true.
working together, you gotta face that person, that situation. You gotta face it and say, hey, hold on. But you with them every single day. So you learning how they think, what they eat, what they don't like, the time. You learning a lot about them versus when I was at the railroad and then you was a school teacher. It's what I know about you today, I didn't know about you then, because all we did was cross paths. We didn't do nothing else. It was like outside of going on dates, we was just crossing paths. But then when we had to get a studio and we both went into the full-time entrepreneurship, it was like, okay, now we got to be together every single day. It's a different thing. And that's why men would tell me all the time, man, how you work with your wife every day? I can't do that because of that.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Y'all put him in a hot seat. What kind of worker am I?
I think once you get locked in on something, sometimes you get too locked in. Like, you got to walk away. Like yesterday, I'm not going to talk about the task specifically, but you got to say, hey, I'm going to do this task only for this time and I got to go something different. That's the thing about me. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on a lot of tasks all day. I got to change tasks. That's why I can get multiple things done. But I think once you get locked in on something, you will sit there and be like all day which is good because you're going to get it done. Me, I'm going to leave that task and come back later and get it done, which is two different, you know what I'm
But
saying?
see, I think that's where you're wrong. So I think sometimes we can assume we know what somebody's doing, but we
Okay.
really don't.
Okay.
Unless you come over and say, hey, what you doing? What you working on? Let
I
me
can see the other stuff that you was doing on Canva, though. I can see that stuff.
No, some stuff I was doing on Canva, but I'm saying if I'm working on multiple things,
I got you.
Sometimes I'll have like 7 tabs open.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's just how I work.
Yeah,
and I don't like to have interruptions when I'm working. That's why I don't really answer my phone, or I like if somebody comes to talk to me, I'm kind of zoned out if I'm zoned in on something.
Got you.
I don't know. I noticed that about myself. Like, I won't even hear the person if I'm locked in on one thing, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad sometimes, because I'm like, huh, what?
I mean, it just depends, because I'm gonna be honest, most people ain't talking about nothing, so I gotta be doing other stuff.
But I think I was thinking more of like style, not more. Multitasking is like a skill.
No, when you say style, what you mean though? I don't understand that.
Like working style, just like everybody has a learning style. I think you have a working style.
I mean, explain to me my working style.
So your working style is, I'm going to put in some work for about 30, 40 minutes. I'm going to take a break. I noticed that you take breaks. Like, that's your thing.
I have to walk away.
Yeah.
I have to walk away.
That's taking a break.
First
That's what
of all,
I'm saying. It's a brain break.
Especially when, because I learned this. You're using a lot of brain memory muscle, when you sit in front of the computer for 8, 10, 12 hours.
So would you say that you like to collaborate, like talk through ideas and talk through projects and work? Like, are you that person, or are you like a critical thinker? Like, you like to kind of plan things out, sketch things out, and then get started?
I'm more of a critical thinker. Like right now, one of my biggest tasks that I'm working on is making sure that content get done. Because the day will go by and you don't do no content.
True.
And like 12 hours, you telling me you couldn't take 5 minutes out your day to do 5 60-second videos?
I think the thing we have to remember, though, is everything is content. Like, we make content so hard.
I agree.
And it's really not that hard, because when I do it, and I'm done in like 5 minutes. Like the other day, we recorded some stuff and we're like, damn, that only took 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So I think it's just you actually locking in and doing it. And I noticed that I work faster when my phone's not near me. So it's like sometimes somebody will call me and then they'll call him, because I'm working on what I'm working on, because I feel like I get more done that way.
But I don't know if you noticed, but in my office sometimes my phone be on the
little stand?
No, not the stand. It be on the mirror. It be on the window.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because, and then people be like, hey man, I try to text you. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because I think you need that time to lock in. Like at least an hour or so, like, you know, because I know we have a business, so you can't just be like totally away from your phone. But I think you can have like, I like to have blocks of work time. Like, let me lock in for a couple of hours. And then, because it takes me a while to lock in. I don't know, because I feel like my brain is thinking about, okay, all the things I got to do. So I'm like, okay, let's start on this first, and then move to this. And then you can kind of come back to this. So yeah, I think we've learned that about each other, like the working styles. I think I'm a critical thinker. I'm more of a critical thinker. But let's talk about the communication styles. Okay, do you know them? Because
I do not. You gotta tell me.
So the first one is assertive.
Okay. We gotta go one at a time though. We can't go crazy.
So the first, I'm gonna name them all and then we'll go back to what they mean. So assertive, aggressive, passive, and passive aggressive are the 4. Okay. Which one would you think you are? Or do you need me to read them?
I'm aggressive.
You're aggressive?
Straight up.
Okay. So assertive.
Mm-hmm.
Assertive communicators are confident and respectful, and they share their thoughts, their ideas openly. They are good at taking on challenges, but they also know how to say no when needed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's that.
That's something I've been working on.
I'm assertive.
Okay.
I think I'm a mixture of assertive and passive aggressive.
All right.
But aggressive, you are definitely aggressive for sure.
Of
But I think you
course.
can be a mixture. But aggressive communicators are intimidating and argumentative, and they tend to be more concerned with winning than considering others' feelings. They may use verbal characteristics like shouting, yelling, demanding, and blaming.
Mm.
He
Not
already,
the blaming part.
you already admitted to it.
No, not the blaming part. I don't blame. The thing
I'm
about
just
me,
kidding.
I don't blame. My biggest thing about people is
No, you don't blame.
we try to find things to make us more. And we talk about
To
this
feel
before.
better about being lazy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's called deflective
Mhm.
deflective gratification, which is you deflect things so that you don't have to fully do that thing.
True. I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? So
agree.
like you deflect it. So
It's a mixture of that and procrastination.
mhm.
Passive communicators avoid expressing their opinions, needs, or values. They often prioritize the needs of others over their own. They may come off as submissive and may not speak up frequently.
Okay.
And then you have passive aggressive. Passive aggressive communicators appear passive on the surface, but they actually express their anger indirectly. They may act this way because they want to act more directly, but they feel powerless to do so.
Okay. So this is the thing is whoever comes up with this stuff, I just think they trying to study people, but I don't think everybody
Falls
is
into one of those categories? Are you sure?
no, because this is the thing. The thing is you might fall to two. Because
No, I think you can be two.
the one that I'm saying, the one that's saying aggressive, that I said I'm aggressive is also saying you blaming people, which I don't never me.
Well,
I
it
just
said, or you could but most of that fits you, except that word.
yeah. So I just
You
think
don't really blame anybody for anything. You just take accountability.
just go get it.
I think accountability is something you have to learn.
Well, yeah. So when do
Yeah.
people learn though?
Because people don't learn, and yeah, they don't learn.
But when do they learn though?
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think when I learned it. I think I learned it after leaving like situations that weren't for me. Because I think sometimes you have to reflect too. Like, what did you do to get yourself in this situation?
That's true.
Like, what can you do to not get in this situation again? And what's wrong with you? Like, what are some things that you know aren't right about yourself that you need to work on?
Got it.
So I think people don't want to do that. They want to say, oh, well, I wouldn't have been doing that if so-and-so wasn't doing this or vice versa. And it's like, no, that's not even what's up. Like, what?
True.
Sometimes it's not all the other person. Like, but maybe you didn't act the way the other person did, but you could have done something different.
That's true.
So I hear that a lot, like when people cheat in their marriages.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you're going to blame the spouse who cheats. But also, too, I think, and this could be just the therapist in me, I want to get to the core of why you cheated. Like, were you missing something at home, or is that just something you're in love with? Because it can be, sometimes it can be, and I'm not making excuses for anybody who's cheating, but what I'm saying is sometimes it could be multiple reasons why people cheat, not just because they want to be with other people. It could be something going on that causes them to be in that situation.
That's good.
I mean, but we don't want to talk about that. People don't want to talk about that part. Like, what role did you play?
Nobody wants to.
Sometimes people play roles because I see people be like mean to their spouse or their person. And yeah, it can be hard.
So I just saw somebody, when you said the word hard, I just thought about something. You have to choose your heart in life. So
I agree.
when I say that is everything you do has some kind of task on it that's going to present itself as if it's hard or if it's easy. So when I say hard and easy, I mean nothing that's worth having never comes easy. So putting together all these systems and processes and this stuff is like, and you can literally see why people don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can literally see like, man, we make this stuff look easy, but it's not that easy. You know what I'm saying?
It's not. And I think the number one thing is you're dealing with people and you're trying to accommodate people, but you also have to make sure that your business is running properly. On the back end, not just the front end, but also the back end. You have to make sure that's running properly. And people can impede on that if you let them. So I think systems and processes are key. And as a business owner, we all know like you're going to tweak them along the way because things change, people change, environments change. And that's just what it is. Like nothing in life that's growing can remain the same.
Nothing.
Like if you're growing and we're watering and we're nourishing and we're putting in every day, like there's no way it's going to stay the same. That goes for your physical health, your mental health, your business, your marriage. If you're putting something in every day, making those small deposits, it has to grow.
Okay, side note. You said you wanted to get a library card.
Yesterday.
Okay, but why not just buy one book a month?
So I was driving in a car and I was like, I'm just going to go to the library. Well, I looked on my phone because I went to the grocery store. And I really enjoyed, I have to say this, I really enjoyed going to the grocery store yesterday.
Yeah, that's good.
Went on a Monday morning.
That's good.
After the gym. There was nobody in there. Maybe it was people in there, but it wasn't that many people.
It's beautiful in the mornings.
If I was drinking coffee, I would have got Starbucks because they had a Starbucks in there. And I was like, I like this. So I think I'm going to make that a thing for me. But I was on my way back from the store and I was like, man, I want to read one book a month this year. And
just 10 pages a day.
I was like, I could buy a book. And then I'm like, no, well, why don't you just go get a library card? Because you can just return it when you're done.
Okay, so
because I'm old school. I still like to have the book in my hand.
So let me tell you why. I don't want a library card.
Why?
I like to highlight the books. I like to write in them, and that's for me. That's bad because they're gonna be like, "Sir, you got to buy this book now." Because to me, when I read something that's catchy, I love to highlight it. I don't know. I'm weird like that. If you go check all my books in the office, they highlight it. Different things, different points. That's why I said, look, you want to go get your library card. But me, I was speaking up on myself like, I can't get a library card.
When I said that, he looked at me like, what? Why don't you just buy the book on Amazon?
One at a time.
Just go to Target.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I'm going to have all these books.
That's cool.
But what am I going to do with all those books?
Guess what? God is just positioning you for your $1 million home. They say the average home over $750,000 in America, 98% of them has a library in there.
I would love that.
So
I would like it to be a wine.
I know.
Library, coffee.
I know.
All the things I love.
And then they become a talking point.
A vibe.
It's a vibe. Like matter of fact, one of our podcasts, he needs to bring my book back.
I could do.
I let him borrow my book.
What book?
Yeah, I let him borrow my book. How to Get 1 Million Followers.
Who? Oh, never mind. We can't say that.
Can't say that.
But okay, you letting people check out books.
This really wasn't
Why didn't you just buy the book for him? You didn't want to do that. You know.
I wasn't thinking. It was just he came to the office. He was like, "Hey man, let me get that book." I was like, "What?"
That must have been a long time ago.
Man, no, that was the second office we had.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that probably was in March. So.
Man, that book.
No. So
I'll buy you another one.
No. When I talk to him, I'll be like, "Hey man, you know it's a service fee on that."
I'll buy you another one. How much is that book?
$25.
Yeah, just kidding.
Oh man, it's cold.
Just think of it as a gift.
Yeah.
At this point, it's been over 6 months.
Bring my book back. Oh, we gotta bring my book back.
It's a gift.
All right. So as we going into so there's a certain flow that we're trying to get to when it comes to this podcast, because I want to have it where we're dropping different commercials, we're dropping different things inside this podcast. I think that now, let me say this real quick. It's so funny how one of our podcast clients said, bro, he pointed me to somebody else that said, bro, you said that. Like, you said what this guy said about podcasting.
Because I want to
And
remember I kept saying, babe, let's get to, and we've talked about this, getting to more of like a show flow, kind of like how the radio has like different segments.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the point I'm bringing in, the beauty of podcasting, if you guys haven't got started yet, if you're just watching this podcast video, is it allows you to meet people and it allows you to create offers while you're meeting these people. A lot of times we get into this, those of y'all don't know, I gotta fix something real quick. All right, here we go. Okay, so we get into this, this mindset of, I'm gonna just do a podcast and not make money. But if you do a podcast and you got offers, you automatically off the top gonna make money.
Yeah.
Because people are looking for people to help them in all facets of situations. And so that's the reason, if you ain't started a podcast, why you should start a podcast. It's so that you can offer the things you want to offer people, you know? That makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Anything else you want to add?
You went off topic, so I was like, huh?
No, because it just crossed my mind.
No, I love
that's
it.
the thing I like about my podcast. I don't have to be on topic. You really don't.
You don't.
It's a topic.
You can just talk
It's a
about what you wanna talk
conversation.
about.
And when the spirit hits you, somebody might say, you know what, I need to start a podcast because he said that as long as I got offers, I can make money.
Yeah, and then it gets deeper than that. Because I think people think, oh, I could just put something together and sell it. So come see us. Y'all need to join the Digitalpreneur Institute. If you don't know, we have launched the Digitalpreneur Institute. You can probably find it below in our description. You should be able to find it. We also have the Digitalpreneur Institute YouTube channel, where we talk about all the things, offers, digital courses, products, how to launch your online school, how to set those things up. We have a community that's $47 a month.
Come on.
Where we host workshops. There's resources there. We'll be doing master classes, webinars, all that good stuff. So yeah, go check it out if you are interested in starting a podcast, but you want to make sure that you have offers and something to sell. Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah. So this last segment I want to start adding is, what's your thoughts for today? So here's a question. I'm gonna ask you a question, then you're gonna ask me a question.
Okay.
But it's the same question. What are your thoughts for today, and how are these thoughts gonna lead to you making money tomorrow?
Oh, so my thoughts for today, number one is to create content, okay? And content is going to lead me to growing my audience, which I have a chance to present my offers to, because sometimes we think that we're the only people that need something. And
Come on.
there's like a million of people thinking like you, like thinking like, man, I'm smart. I have all this information. How can I help someone? But how can I also help myself at the same time? And so I think putting yourself out there and creating content so people can see you creates visibility, helps you build your audience, and helps you get in front of them. So that's my goal today. My thoughts today is just to keep creating content so that we can continue to grow and build our audience so that people can know more about what we have to offer.
Good. So what's your question to me?
Well, my question is, what are your goals for today? Like the main task that you want to get done?
The main task I want to get done is making sure that the website is set up so that we can get ready to run ads and to lay out an ad strategy versus let's just pay money to run an ad. It's like,
Right.
no. We need a whole strategy. So that's my thoughts for the day. Of course, film more of these podcasts. And I want to make it my business to do at least 5 60-second videos, no matter what. No matter what. Just 5 60-second videos. And I don't care. End of the month, I might have 150. That's cool with me. I'm gonna be ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's my mindset is making sure I'm over delivering on content. So
Yeah, I'm also learning that I'm definitely a mixture type person. Like I like talking to the camera directly, but I also too like realistic stuff. And so I think that I wouldn't say realistic, but more like reality type vibes.
got it.
Because I think people are into that these days. I don't know what it is about people watching other people do everyday things. People love that. Like just watching me set up for a podcast or
People don't have nothing to do.
like they love stuff like that.
They don't have nothing to do.
And I'm like, I like creating stuff like that because I think that gives people another perspective of you, like another side, like, oh, okay, other than being directly in front of the camera. So that's
sense.
what I'm trying to bring with my content. It's not so much formal content, but a mixture of informal and formal.
Yeah. And I'm bringing more of a dynamic of motivation because the reason is I'm gonna be making videos every day for the Digitalpreneur Institute. I'm gonna make sure all those videos go on that YouTube channel, but I'm also gonna doing the Lloyd Christian motivation, which is the daily like
Yeah, I was thinking about that too because I was looking at my personal Instagram and I'm like, I sigh because I like to keep all my other endeavors separate, but I'm like, okay, you got to do something on your personal. And so that's where the lifestyle behind the scenes of my life type content I want to do on my personal page.
I love it.
Because that gives people an idea of who I am outside of One Marriage, Two Hustles, outside of Allow Yourself Grace podcast and my book that's coming out this year. So yeah.
So good. All right. So listen, if you guys have any questions, comment below, hit the notification button. But the number one thing is we here to help motivate and inspire you guys to be the best version of you. And knowing that hey, if you're in Houston, Texas too, and you guys are a couple and you want to come on our podcast, we're interviewing all couples on our podcast. Hope to see you soon, and we can't wait to connect with you.
We love you guys. Bye.
You're kicking it with the Christians. You're kicking it with the Christians. One marriage, two hustlers, it shows. We'll travel the globe in search of endless possibility. You're kicking it with the Christians. Together we'll conquer it all. Take the highs with the lows, 'cause there's no losing with this energy. You're kicking it with the Christians.
Don't forget to follow us on all platforms.